Alrighty, now that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters and getting closer to $1 billion at the box office worldwide speaking by Disney and Lucasfilm, a lot of fans have been very intrigued and curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this marks the very end of the Skywalker saga and that now Disney and Lucasfilm are moving on to evolving the franchise into something new and different. Which honestly is something very much of a big risk because obviously going into the unknown is a risky thing by Disney and Lucasfilm because so far what they have done with Star Wars is that they really have relied on nostalgia or previous, war eras or specific eras of the Star Wars franchise, like Rogue One, for example, ties directly into Star Wars A New Hope, or how Solo's Star Wars story pretty much ties directly in between the events of episodes 3 and 4, and the list goes on, right? So this really is going to be quite a challenge for Disney and Lucasfilm, the fact that they are exploring these 3 new Star Wars movies that consist of a new series of Star Wars films, or a 4th trilogy, so to speak. And the first film of the new trilogy, dubbed as Star Wars X, is the one that they are mainly focused on as of right now, and are treating this movie and this project as a priority over everything else that they are currently working on as we speak. Now, on top of all of this, it's explained that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on the development of future projects that come after Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, and that they have over 10 years worth of live-action Star Wars projects that are currently in early development. It said that Disney and Lucasfilm are now focused on the first film of the new trilogy that is dubbed as Star Wars X, and that they are in negotiations of using the Roman numeral format once again for Star Wars. It said that this plan comes from Disney CEO Bob Iger, and that between Disney and Lucasfilm, they are both in negotiations of bringing 2 big actors to the big screen for these new series of films. For one, they are looking to get Gerard Butler on board as a supporting actor and for the first film of the new Star Wars series in the 2020s, and that they are also looking into Anthony Hopkins for a role as a main character for Star Wars. Now, Star Wars X is explained to be a Star Wars film that will dive into a brand new era of the franchise that fans have never seen before, that will be inspired from Star Wars The Legends material, and that Lucasfilm and Disney are looking to film in multiple countries in Europe and also many states over in the United States. It's said that Kevin Feige will have a big part in producing the newest Star Wars film, and that Kathleen Kennedy has been in the talks with the Russo brothers to come on board as writer for the new Star Wars films, and that the Russo brothers are currently in the talks with Lucasfilm to bring in a brand new era of the Star Wars franchise. Now, this new Star Wars film is also said to be modeled after Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones with a mix of Star Wars, and that they are looking to make the darkest Star Wars film that there is, that will also introduce new Star Wars lore that has never been seen before in the franchise, both in Legends and canon. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, obviously, the thing about the future of Star Wars is that they really do have to treat things carefully. Now, even Kathleen Kennedy stated that this is going to be a big challenge for them, the fact that they are going into a brand new mythology, a brand new era of Star Wars, if you will. It really is going to be something unique and new to the fans, and she already has her director chosen. We're going to learn exactly who's directing this movie this month of January. But what really excites me is exactly who they are interested in, of course, bringing onto the set of Star Wars X. Now, Star Wars X obviously is the placeholder name for this movie, and hence it means basically Star Wars Episode 10, if they do choose to keep that Roman numeral format. Right now, they're pretty much in negotiations on whether or not they want to go backwards or forwards. If that makes sense, they want to either go after the events of Episode 9, or if they want to go before the events of Episode 1. If they go before the events of Episode 1, using the Roman numerals would make absolutely no sense in my opinion. That's just how I see things. If you go beyond Episode 9, sure, I can see how that makes sense. Obviously, the Skywalker saga, though, is more closely associated with the Roman numeral format, but they can still continue it if they really want to. Since this movie will have connections to the Skywalker saga regardless. Now, that won't actually continue the story of the Skywalkers, but it's going to have connections, if you will. Basically, what that means is you're going to see familiar planets. You are going to see the character of Yoda in this movie. They actually plan to bring back Yoda in some way, shape, or form, depending on if they go, past Episode 9 or before Episode 1. Obviously, if they go after episode 9, he's got to be a Force ghost. If they go before episode 1, it's going to be a younger version of Yoda. So having Gerard Butler and Anthony Hopkins in the talks, as well as the Russo brothers to be the writers of this new Star Wars film, I think is a great decision already, because we can already see that, you know, Kathleen Kennedy is borrowing a lot of creatives from Marvel. She's already got Kevin Feige to produce a new Star Wars movie, or to at least have a major role in Star Wars X. And not just that, she's also trying to get the Russo brothers involved. So, does this seem like it's desperate for Disney? Maybe, absolutely, because it seems like that they do see the success that they have had with their own franchise, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, ever since they took over Marvel, and now they want to apply that success to Star Wars. However, it has to do something very unique for the franchise, and it has to work well with the Star Wars community. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.